Hi, I'm Anthony Mangano, and welcome to City of Churches. Today we're in East Williamsburg, Brooklyn, to visit the most Holy Trinity Church. Now, this church has got a lot of history, and it has an unsolved mystery. So we're going to go on inside and check it out. Come on, follow me. Hi, I'm Anthony Mangano, and welcome to City of Churches. This is a program where we invite you to visit some very special and historic churches. Today we're in East Williamsburg, Brooklyn, to visit the most Holy Trinity Church. Now look at that cornerstone. It says 1882. This is one of the oldest churches in the Brooklyn Diocese. Now, historian Patrick McNamara had once called this the first mega church. And later on, we're going to find out why it was called the German Cathedral. But first, let's talk about the neighborhood and how Williamsburg got its name. Williamsburg was named after the land surveyor and head of the Army Corps of Engineers, Colonel Jonathan Williams. He was a grandnephew of Benjamin Franklin and later was elected to Congress in 1814. Now, this neighborhood's history can be traced back to 1827, when it was just a small village in the town of Bushwick. Eventually, it grew into the town of Williamsburg, where a lot of German Catholic immigrants settled here. Now, by the 20th century, alternating waves of Irish, Italian, Polish, and Spanish immigrants followed him, bringing their own culture and their character to this neighborhood. Factories sprung up to manufacture all types of products employing the local citizens. Now, up until 2001, these tall Brooklyn Union gas storage tanks were the most visible landmarks around here until they were dismantled in 2001. Now, in the famous book, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, author Betty Smith referred to this as the most beautiful church in Brooklyn. Well, here we are outside Most Holy Trinity Church, and I ran into one of its parishioners. And you are?
Zenaida Miranda.
Hello, Zenaida Miranda. Thank you for taking the time out to talk to us here.
You're welcome.
So, tell us about the church and how long you've been coming here.
I've been coming here since 1959, when I was younger, 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
And it's a lot of history in this church.
Do you have anything specific that you'd like to tell our viewers about this church?
Well, a lot of members, a lot of people, different nationality, beautiful, that I've been growing up since, when I was a child. A lot of Irish, Italian, and then the Spanish people start coming in. It's a mixture now into the church. And then, I made my first communion here in confirmation.
Okay.
And after that, I said I would like someday to be a teacher to teach children religion. That is, I guess it's a gift that God gave me into this church. And I love the lead to this church because it have a lot of meaning into it.
Okay.
And in the past. And then about the ghost and the ghost, not the ghost. I don't know the ghost. I don't know
what
the
about
spirit.
the ghost? Spirit. That's kind of interesting. What about that?
Well, there's once I was in back of the church, closing the church, turning the light off. Everything was closed. It's kind of a little dog. Back of the church, walking, I saw this, like a priest with his vows, and that gave me the chills. But I said, let me keep still, So I went to the rectory, and there are sometimes that I feel things like that every other often.
That's an interesting story. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to coming here and talking to us on the show. Well, our very special guest today on City of Churches is Father Jose. He's the pastor of Most Holy Trinity Church here. Father, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, I got a lot of questions to ask you, which we'll have a little fun with it, like I always do on our show. So let's just jump right in, because this is a beautiful church and our viewers would like to know a lot about it. I would like to ask you is to tell us the history about this church and when was the parish founded?
The parish was founded in 1841 by the migrants from Germany.
Why was it named Most Holy Trinity Church?
Usually the name is chosen by the same people, and they present the petition to the bishop, and the bishop decides which is the title that the church can have.
So this church, it was 1841 to be
Yes.
exact. So what was the need for the church in this area at that time?
Because the population, especially the Germans, they were in high number, and they needed a place to worship, to live their faith in Christianity.
So this is 1841?
Yes, that's
Now, is this the original building?
No, the original was a small one. That was from 1841, but there was a second one in 1850s or so, and this one is from 1882, but it was opened 3 years later, according to the cornerstone.
Do you know who the architect of this building was, of this church?
Oh yeah, it was William Sheckle.
He did a really phenomenal job here. What would you say the design is here? Gothic?
Yeah, this is a new Gothic style, French Gothic style, but we can find some Germany influence too.
Father, we had said that this wasn't the original church. What used to be on this site? Would you know?
Yeah, it was a cemetery, a parish cemetery, but it was moved another place.
There was a cemetery here?
Yeah, there was a cemetery.
Wow, that's interesting that they moved the cemetery and put the church here. When I had gotten lost coming here, but the two spires coming out, how tall are they?
About 250 feet,
Each.
each one.
Wow. I noticed that there were old photos here and there was a clock.
Oh yeah.
What happened to the clock?
The clock was out, and it was removed from the
It was outdated?
display. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it costs so much money to renovate and
that's
to put a new one in. I do like when they do renovate and keep a lot of the old stuff that originated in the church, but I can understand that. It could be very, We did a church, and they had a mechanism that ran things that it just got so outdated that they kept fixing it, and finally they had to redo it. They had to like upgrade it to a new system. And I can understand what, modern times, like we all have cell phones, so we all know.
Yeah,
So
sure.
things change. Father, there's a lot of wood carvings around this church. The pulpit is very decorative, and the Station of the Cross. Were they the original ones that were here?
Yeah, they are original, and they are a treasure for this church because each one was carved by hand.
These were carved by hand?
Yes.
That's what I always say, that the art form and how these sculptors and painters, they put so much into it. And today I guess you can fabricate it, but it's never the same as what they did. One Station of the Cross, God only knows how much time it took to make that in such detail.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're really
they are
beautiful. There's another window here that was donated by a man named George Stelz in 1885. And he was the sexton and bell ringer here until August 29th of 1897. Now, I understand there's an unsolved mystery about him. Can you tell us about it?
Oh yeah, it is special because he was working here in the church as sacristan and ring bells, but unfortunately he was attacked for a thief and he was assassinated.
Wow, in the church.
The history just mentioned that he died because of this accident.
Father, anyone that knows the show knows how much I love stained glass. Because I always felt that when they designed these and they put them in a church, it told the story. The Bible came to life when the sun came in. Now, these are really beautiful. I mean, how many windows are in here?
Oh, actually, there are 34 stained glasses.
34 stained glass windows.
Yeah.
Now, are these the original?
Yeah, original, and they were designed in Austria,
Okay.
especially for this church.
What year would that be?
It was about 1885 or 80s or so.
Okay, and do you know the name of the
Oh yeah,
designer?
it was Albert Neuhauser.
Albert Neuhauser.
Yeah.
And he was Austrian. I have to tell you, they're really beautiful. Now, it's a little cloudy outside, so they're not beaming with light yet, but you can see the detail on each of these windows. Like I said before with the Stations of the Cross, so much went into them. I always believe that stained glass, to me, is like artwork in a museum. That it's so breathtaking to look at because it looks like it's literally coming to life. It's a story being told, the Bible being told to us as we look through it.
Yeah, actually, in the past, all the pictures were used for religious education.
Religious education. Is there a particular window that you like the most?
Oh, that is complicated. Also, because there are some beautiful windows from Our Lady, the Mother of God, but my scene of devotion is Saint Paul that just in front of me.
Tell me the demographics of the neighborhood, how it started with the Germans. What is the current ethnic makeup of the church now?
So, through the story, it has been changed. After the Germans, there was a group of Italians.
Okay.
And then after the Italians were moved, now actually we have Anglo speakers, Spanish speakers, and a new group of Polish.
Is the Mass celebrated here in different languages?
Yeah, sure. According to the groups, we have Mass in English, Spanish, Polish, or sometimes we celebrate together in one important Mass.
Oh, that's nice. And how many parishioners can you fit in here? Because it's such a big church. I'm just curious how many would fit in here.
Around 1,000. In the past,
1,000?
Yeah, in the past it were more because, as you can see, some pews were removed in this area. The original altar was in that area.
You brought the altar out more, and I noticed that in a lot of the churches, the altar rails are gone, and the baptismal font usually is in the front or very close where people could see. That it invites the people
Approach the altar.
more approachable than at a distance.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, which I happen to like. I like that feeling of being closer to the altar and closer to God, and not being like blocked off by a wall.
Yeah, sure. I think that was the culture mentality in the past that had some protection between the altar and the people. And after Vatican II, the altar tried to be close to the people during the Mass. So right now we are 3 friars working specific in this church, and one for Anglo speakers, the other one for Polish, and myself for Latino community. And we are trying to have some identification with different groups because the Latino is with different countries and each one have different tradition. And by the time, so I am new in this church and I am learning about them, and some are from Ecuador, some República Dominican, Puerto Rico, other small groups of different countries. And so I need to learn from them to come work with them because each one have different culture, different vision, but they try to live their faith in the same Jesus.
When we come back, Father Jose is going to take me and you out there on a tour of Most Holy Trinity Church, and he's going to show us something very, very important here. So please, come on back. So Father, this is
This
the vault?
Yeah, the crypt are here and downstairs.
Okay, you go first, I'll follow
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Wow.
Take care.
I'm right behind you, Father.
Okay.
So, wow, We're going down to like
Yeah.
the basement here.
Yeah, this is a reserved area.
Wow.
No people come here.
Wow.
Here
Wow,
are
there's a
the
gate and
crypts.
all too. Oh, well, okay. Oh, so this is where the crypts are.
Yeah,
So these are the two.
the two first pastors, Father John Stephen, who died in 1861, and Father Michael May, who died in 1895. So originally, Father John Stephen, so he was buried in the local cemetery, and after Father Michael died, his remains was bring here and to repose in the same place both.
You know, we've been to a few churches and I've seen crypts like this. The original St. Patrick's Church in Mulberry Street has one downstairs too. I always find it amazing
Yeah.
that the remains are here. Well, it's a nice tribute to the two founding fathers, you know, of this church, the two pastors. It's really nice that they, you know, pay tribute like that. Well, after you, sir,
Okay,
as we
thank you.
go on the rest of the tour of Most Holy Trinity Church.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, here we are with Father Jose, and we're back at Most Holy Trinity Church. And Father's going to take us on a little tour, me and the viewers, of the great things here. I mean, the Stations of the Cross, the stained glass window, the carvings, which are so amazing. But is there anything specific that you want to tell our viewers about here at Most Holy Trinity Church? I think you mentioned it to me before.
Yeah, the presence of the Polish community in this church, they have a special chapel that they decorate with St. Paul II.
This is basically an area for the Polish?
Yeah, this is dedicated for them, so they coming to the church, they pray here because, you know, John Paul II was from Poland, and this is these relics. But the other side, there are two more friars, conventual as us, from Poland too, but they were missionary in Peru, and they were killed by Sendero Luminoso a little more than 20 years ago, and right now they were recognized as martyrs 2 years ago in Peru. But they are from Poland too, Friar Michael and Zbigniew.
This is that's very sad,
Yeah.
but this is really a nice tribute.
Yeah, that is the testimony that the church give to the people, to the Christians, because they were sent to evangelize, but so for the Luminoso it was uncomfortable, the service that they were giving to the community in that really poor area of Peru.
Well, I have to tell you, as we're looking, you had said that the Stations of the Cross, these were hand carved?
Yeah, sure.
They're really amazing. I mean, that's a lot of detail. That's a lot of work there to be done. And your stained glass windows, like we were discussing, which, speaking of stained glass, the rose window up there.
Oh yeah, that big one is so beautiful. You know, the Rosetón is to make the mind be in peace before to pray. But this is special because it shows the four evangelists, the writers of the Gospel of Jesus: Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John.
John.
Yeah, therefore.
Let's keep walking so you can tell us some more about, I mean, you said there were 30-something windows here?
34.
34 stained glass windows. Wow. And each one is breathtaking. I mean, it's like I said, the Bible basically comes to life. I mean, you could look up and see all these beautiful stained glass windows, and especially your favorite one was over here, right?
Yeah, St. Paul.
St. Paul.
St. Paul, but this side we can saw something too, St. Benedict and Scholastic, St. Barbara, the baptism of the Lord, the Holy Family, so a different moment of the Bible.
I see so many, especially above the altar up there. I'm looking at Jesus on the cross.
So they show different saints.
Yes.
Saint Michael, this is Saint Sebastian, Saint Rose of Lima.
And they go all around.
Yes.
Oh, that's really cool. Father, you showed us such beautiful Stations of the Cross. We talked about being hand carved, and the stained glass windows, and your famous stained glass window that you love. And I'm looking at the murals behind the altar and around it are gorgeous, but this caught my eye from the pulpit. This is amazing, utterly amazing. This is all hand carved?
Yeah, all is good, and it is decorated with the 4 evangelists, the writer of the Gospel of the Lord.
Father, we interviewed a lady on the street, and she told us about the legend of the Phantom.
Oh yeah, there is.
Can you explain that to us?
Sure, there is so it's a funny, but the people transmit or speak about it. So because in this area there was a cemetery in the past, and the legend said that when all the remains were moved to another place because the cemetery was then, some forget a little boy. Some parents, yeah, little boy. And usually they said that he is in that area of the church, in the mezzanine, and looking for the parents. That is something. And I had done some relationship about this child forget in the church, as Jesus was forget in the Temple of Jerusalem.
Okay, okay. Now you're going to get me looking around now. If I see something running around, I'm going to go, oh. But we're in a church, so it can't be bad.
Yeah, sure. I had been here too late, and I had been looking, but I never had seen this little boy.
Let's look at something else right now.
Okay.
So, Father, after looking at how breathtaking and amazing this is, we're looking at the altar now. Now, is this the original altar?
Yeah, this is the original altar, and as you know, in the past, before the Vatican II, the Mass was celebrated here with the back to the people, and now we use the new one. But this is the original. The priests usually celebrate the Mass here, close to the tabernacle, but usually back to the community.
This is a beautiful church.
Yeah.
Really should be very proud of it. It's a beautiful, beautiful church. Father, I want to thank you so much for coming on City of Churches and showing everybody Most Holy Trinity Church. That's it for this episode. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, you can follow us on netnewyork.tv, Facebook or Twitter, or you can write into us at City of Churches, 1712 10th Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11215. Until next time, I'm Anthony Mangano. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless you.